Andre Johnson wasn't looking for anything special when he climbed into the attic of his family's old house in Atlanta. The funeral had drained him. He needed silence, somewhere to think, to breathe. What he didn't expect was to find the old brown trunk buried beneath dusty Christmas decorations and forgotten memories. Inside, nestled between a stack of yellowed notebooks and medals from a war he never asked about, was a laptop. Thick with dust, its charger wrapped around it like a relic. Curiosity outweighed hesitation. Back in his room, he plugged it in. The screen flickered, then steadied to a login page. The username was familiar. Malcolm J., his father's name. Andre's hands trembled as he typed in guesses. Their home address, his mother's birthday. Random military codes. Nothing worked. Finally, almost mockingly, he tried his own birth date, 0821. The screen blinked and the desktop appeared. One folder sat in the middle, labeled in bold plain text, "For Andre." Before we go deeper into this story, take a moment to subscribe to the channel. You won't want to miss what comes next. He clicked. Inside were dozens of video files, each named by date and a short title. The earliest dated back to the day he was born. Entry 01, the day you were born. The thumbnail showed a young version of his father, clean-shaven, smiling, wearing a hospital visitor's badge. Andre hesitated, then hit play. The screen came to life. Malcolm's voice was younger, lighter. "Hey, little man, you don't know me yet, but I'm your dad. Today you came into the world and I don't think I've ever felt something hit me so hard. I want you to know that even if I mess up, because I will, I've loved you since the second I saw you." Andre's throat tightened. The video continued, short, just over a minute, but it felt like a window into a universe he never knew existed. He watched another, and another. The entries flowed chronologically, one per month at first. Malcolm documenting moments, first steps, first words, birthdays. They were sweet, sincere, and sometimes awkward. Andre laughed at the ones where his father tried to sing lullabies, off-key and too loud. But as the videos continued, the tone began to shift. By the time Andre reached Entry 019, Sleepless Nights, Malcolm looked different, the light in his eyes dimmer, his words slower. "I haven't slept in days," he said. "Not since that dream again, the desert, the sound of screaming." "It's not you screaming, but it always feels like you're the one I can't reach." Andre leaned forward. The Malcolm he remembered was always present physically, but emotionally distant. Rarely smiling, always watching the news or walking alone. Now he understood. It wasn't detachment, it was pain. Another entry. Entry 024, The Wall. Malcolm's face was gaunt. "You're 5 now. I see how you look at me sometimes, like you're waiting for me to talk, to play, to be better. I want to. God knows I want to. But something in me shuts down. There's this wall and I built it, but I can't tear it down." Andre paused the video. He hadn't cried at the funeral. He hadn't cried when they lowered the casket. But now tears came silently. For the man who couldn't say these things out loud, only to a camera, for the son who had never known how much was hidden in silence. Still, something told him this was only the beginning. The more Andre watched, the more the entries unraveled into a painful yet intimate portrait of a man coming undone. At first, Malcolm's words were quiet admissions, moments of tiredness, stress from work, sleeplessness, but soon he spoke openly about battles Andre had never known existed. In one video, Malcolm sat in near darkness, a soft hum of static behind him. "I keep seeing it," he whispered. "The moment that truck exploded, there were 5 of us. Only 2 came back. And I'm the only one who can't sleep." Andre had always assumed his father's silence came from strictness, or maybe even disappointment. He never imagined it was fear, raw, relentless fear, trapped in a loop of memory that never let go. Another entry. Entry 030, The Guilt. Malcolm's face looked more strained than ever. "Your mom says I should talk to someone. I tried. I walked into that VA office, stood there for 15 minutes, and walked right back out. The words, they don't come easy. Not when you've done things you can't explain, not even to yourself. He paused, rubbed his temples. Sometimes I think I was better in that desert. At least there I knew who I was. Here, I'm a ghost in my own house. Andre stared at the screen. So many evenings made sense now. The dinners where Malcolm would sit silently, eyes fixed on nothing. The abrupt disappearances, the sudden temper spikes, the quiet apologies. It wasn't coldness. It was survival. He clicked on Entry 034, The Lost Week. The video began with Malcolm sitting in the driver's seat of a car, the night outside blurring in streaks of passing lights. You were 9. I told your mom I had a work conference, but that was a lie, Malcolm said softly. I checked into a VA hospital. I didn't want you to see me like that. Didn't want you to hear me scream at shadows or watch me flinch at door slams. He sighed. That week saved my life, but it also built another wall between us, one I didn't know how to tear down. Andre felt his stomach knot. That week had always been a mystery. His mother brushed it off, said it was just a quick trip. But now he remembered the tension in her voice, the way she avoided eye contact every time he asked when Dad was coming back. One more video. Entry 036, The Distance. I know you feel it, Malcolm said. That space between us. You've stopped asking me to play, stopped waiting at the door. I don't blame you. I wish I could tell you what's wrong, but I barely understand it myself. I see you trying, Andre, and every time I freeze, it kills me. Andre's throat tightened again. He remembered that distance vividly, the invisible wall that had slowly grown between them until they were strangers in the same house. And yet, seeing these videos, it didn't feel like abandonment anymore. It felt like a man drowning in a sea no one else could see. The next few entries showed Malcolm trying harder. Brief smiles, a game of catch, a birthday cake. His efforts were clumsy, but they were real. Then came a file labeled Entry 038, Miles. Andre hovered over the title, tempted to click, but something told him to breathe, to process what he had seen first. There was so much more he didn't know, and now he wasn't sure if he was ready to find out. Andre sat back in his chair, hands clenched on his lap, heart beating too loud. The title of the next video pulsed in his vision. Entry 038, Miles. He clicked it, almost without thinking. Malcolm's voice was different, steadier, focused. I want to tell you about a kid named Miles, he began. Bright, kind, always asking questions. I taught him history his junior year. He reminded me of you, curious, restless, way too smart for his own good. Andre listened closely. One afternoon, he caught me in the hallway. I must have looked awful, hadn't slept, hadn't eaten. He just stood there and said, "Hey, Mr. J, you good?" I didn't know what to say. I told him I was fine. He didn't believe me. Malcolm laughed, a short, broken sound. He kept checking in every day. He was only 16, but he saw me, really saw me. One day, I was parked outside the school, engine running. I had this bottle in the glove box. I was thinking about ending it. He knocked on the window, just knocked. Said, "You coming in today or what?" Like it was the most normal thing in the world. Andre's breath caught. He could picture it now. His father, lost in the dark, pulled back by a teenager too stubborn to walk away. That moment changed me, Malcolm said. It didn't fix me, nothing really does, but it reminded me that I mattered. That maybe I still had something to give. Andre sat in silence after the video ended. It was overwhelming, the depth of pain, the flickers of light, the way one boy had unknowingly saved his father's life. Then came the next video. Entry 041, The Fire. Malcolm looked worse again, older, worn. The light that had appeared in the last entry was gone. I did something terrible, he said quietly. I didn't mean to, I swear to you I didn't. It was late. I stayed after school grading papers. I lit a candle in the lab because the lights kept flickering. I must have fallen asleep. His voice broke. When I woke up, smoke was everywhere. I panicked, put it out fast, but the damage was done. I didn't say anything. I told the principal I found it that way. Andre's chest tightened. He remembered that fire. It made the news. A student was expelled for it. Malcolm looked directly at the camera. They blamed Curtis, he said he'd snuck in after hours. I didn't stop it. I didn't speak up. And it destroyed him. Andre felt sick. Curtis had been his friend once. They built tree houses together, traded comic books. Then one day he was gone. No goodbye, no explanation. I've watched your face every time you asked about him, Malcolm whispered. I wanted to tell you, I swear I did, but I was a coward. And Curtis, he didn't deserve that. Andre stared at the screen. His stomach turned with guilt, with fury. The lies, the silence, the unbearable truth. He tried to remember Curtis's face, what it looked like the last time they talked. Had he noticed something? Had Curtis tried to say goodbye and Andre just hadn't listened? The room felt colder now. He glanced at the list of remaining videos. Dozens left. So many secrets still buried in his father's voice. He needed answers. But more than that, he needed to understand the weight of the silence he'd inherited. Andre didn't sleep that night. He sat in the same chair, the screen glowing softly, the air heavy with everything he had just learned. Curtis, the fire, his father's silence. In the morning, his mother found him there, laptop still open. You found them, she said quietly. Andre turned, startled. You knew? She nodded, eyes clouded. He asked me not to show you, said you had to be ready. That it had to be your choice. His voice cracked. You knew about Curtis, about the fire? Her silence was answer enough. Tears welled up in his eyes, not just from betrayal, but from the crushing realization that everyone had known something except him. He was broken, Andre, she whispered, but he never stopped loving you. He thought these videos would say it better than he ever could in person. Andre looked away. His chest felt too tight, his thoughts too loud. He should have said it to my face. She reached into her pocket and handed him a small flash drive. This was the last thing he recorded. He didn't put it on the laptop. He wanted you to watch it only when you were ready. Andre took it with shaking hands. The label was simple. Last entry. He waited. Not hours. Days. He needed time to breathe, to think, to face whatever came next. And when he finally clicked the file, he braced himself. Malcolm appeared on the screen, thinner, pale, the hospital gown stark against his skin. His voice was hoarse but steady. Hey Andre, if you're watching this, I'm gone. And I'm sorry. Not just for that. For all of it. He coughed, winced, then continued. There's no excuse for what I did to Curtis, or to you. I let fear make my choices. Fear of being exposed, of being judged, of not being strong enough. But that fear destroyed the things I loved the most. Andre swallowed hard. Every word struck deeper than the last. You deserved better. You deserved a father who showed up. Not just physically, but here... He tapped his chest. Where it mattered. Malcolm paused, his eyes glistening. I don't expect forgiveness. I just hope one day you understand. And if you can, if there's even a piece of you willing, find Curtis. Tell him the truth. Give him the apology I was too much of a coward to deliver myself. Andre blinked, trying to hold back tears. His father's final words were quiet, almost whispered. Break the silence, son. Don't carry what I carried. Say the words. Feel the things. Live wide open, even when it hurts. The screen faded to black. Andre sat frozen, the echo of his father's voice still vibrating in his chest. For so long, he'd seen his father as a man built of distance and shadows. Now he saw the truth. He was a man who tried, who failed, and who wanted desperately to be more than his pain allowed. The burden didn't disappear, but it shifted, became something else. A challenge. A choice. He looked at the flash drive, then at the laptop, and for the first time since the funeral, he felt something shift inside. He knew what he had to do next. Andre didn't know exactly what he would say. He only knew that he had to find Curtis. The weight of the truth demanded more than silence. It took weeks, but eventually, through old yearbooks, a few online searches, and a reluctant message to an old classmate, He found him. Curtis Evans, now 28, working at an auto repair shop in Dayton, Ohio. Andre made the drive in a rented car, his hands never quite steady on the wheel. The whole way there he rehearsed apologies in his mind, words that weren't even his to give. The shop was small, tucked between a liquor store and an abandoned pharmacy. Curtis stood beneath a lifted sedan, grease on his hands, the same sharp eyes Andre remembered, but harder now, carved by life. Curtis didn't recognize him at first, but when Andre said his name, something flickered behind those eyes. "I'm Malcolm Johnson's son," Andre said, "and I need to tell you something." They sat behind the building, on cracked plastic chairs, the air thick with tension and old memories. Andre pulled out the flash drive, plugged it into his laptop, and hit play. Curtis watched in silence. Not a word, not a blink, just stillness. When the screen finally went black, he sat back and let out a long, shaky breath. "I thought he forgot," Curtis said. "Thought he didn't care at all." Andre shook his head. He cared. He just didn't know how to come back from it. Curtis didn't speak for a long time. When he did, his voice was rough but clear. "I lost everything because of that fire. My scholarship, my plans, my mum never looked at me the same. I hated him, still do some days." "I get it," Andre whispered. Curtis turned to him. "But you didn't owe me this. Most people wouldn't have come." Andre looked down. "He asked me to, and I couldn't live with myself if I didn't." Curtis nodded slowly. "Then maybe that's enough." They parted without promises. No hugs, no dramatic closure, but the silence between them wasn't angry anymore. It was quiet, almost peaceful. Back in Atlanta, Andre opened a new folder on his laptop. "For whoever comes next," he hit record. "My name is Andre Johnson. I'm 17, and I've got some things to say." His voice trembled at first, but he kept going. He talked about grief, about love, about the invisible burdens fathers pass down to sons. He talked about Malcolm, not just as a man who made mistakes, but as someone who tried to break the cycle, even if he couldn't quite finish the job. Entry after entry, he told the truth, the raw, messy, necessary truth. He wasn't trying to be perfect, just real. And somehow, that was enough. If this story resonated with you, don't forget to subscribe to the channel. These stories aren't just for entertainment, they're for connection, for healing, for remembering that we're not alone in the hard things. And if you're ready to keep going, click the video on screen now. There's more ahead, stories that will move you, challenge you, and maybe even change you. Because sometimes what's left behind isn't a legacy of pain, but a chance to begin again.